Today on the Topic Show, Biden might give a blanket preemptive pardon to Fauci and more. The Jaguar Type 00 in blue is a sad blue. Drug maker Lilly to invest $3 billion into expanding their facility in Wisconsin in order to meet demand for obesity drugs. Charlamagne goes on The View and calls out their bias against Donald Trump. The illegal migrant complains that she only got free housing and the food was bad, but free. Elon notes that only 6% of federal employees actually go to the office that are full-time, even less when you discount the security and maintenance personnel. A Boston City Council votes to protect illegals from the feds trying to deport them, and Polaris has to recall some of their off-road vehicles. All of that and much, much more on The Topping Show. Thank you everyone for taking the time to tune in today. Today's episode of The Topping Show is proudly sponsored by Topping Technologies. Topping Technologies is an IT value-added reseller and services company with a special proficiency IT security. Heck, I see their founder at least twice a day. Gotta say he's quite handsome and brilliant. He's me, you see, that's the joke. If you're an IT leader or a business owner, you can reach out to the team at sales@toppingtechnologies.com. Also, still giving away a free Flamethrower with every IT purchase. Yes, it does come with a Picatinny rail adapter, so you can mount it to any standard AR-15 like all awesome accessories can be. Go to toppingtechnologies.com and click the Flamethrower button to learn more. Yes, it is also in the video description. Lastly, trying to get to 4,000 subscribers by Christmas. So if you can click that button and tell your friends, I would greatly appreciate it. Now going over to the business part of the podcast, you have drug maker Lilly to invest $3 billion to expand their Wisconsin plant in order to meet the demand of obesity drugs. Heaven forbid we actually lift a dumbbell or go to the gym, but I partially digress. Now, this comes to us thanks to CNBC, and they say, quote, Lilly invests $3 billion to expand their Wisconsin plant as obesity drug demand soars. Now, granted, I'll have a little fun caveat like you should always have when it comes to these types of topics. Always talk to your doctor and trust him to give you the best advice and do your own research. I'm not giving you any medical advice on this show. I just think culturally and morally, in the United States, it's kind of it's sad that most people look to drugs for a short-term solution to what I think is a long-term problem. Personally, I am one of those people that think most things in life can be solved by just getting in shape and get a little faith, but I partially digress. Now here you can see their iconic sign logo on the wall there, which, A+ marketing. They're probably the last company on the planet that still use cursive, which means people under 30 can't know what they're saying. I'm only partially kidding. I'll never forget the brilliance of the public school. They forced us to learn cursive, saying it'll be a default for everything we do in life. And yeah, once we went from 6th grade to middle school, ironically, those teachers said, yeah, we'll never accept those assignments because, of course, we can't read it. But I partially get off my soapbox for today. Diving into the article, which is also credited to Reuters, they say, quote, Eli Lilly said on Thursday it will invest $3 billion to expand the manufacturing plant it bought in Pleasant Prairie, Wisconsin earlier this year as it scrambles to meet soaring demand for weight loss and diabetes drugs, or as Mac from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia pronounces, diabetes. Diabetes? He has a fun way of saying it. They say, quote, the new investment in the factory, which is acquired from Nexus Pharmaceuticals, will help boost production of Lilly's powerful weight loss drug. I don't know who calls it this. It's going out a quote here. This is F. marketing. It's called Zepbound. Again, for the most profitable industry on the planet, you'd think they could afford someone who actually can come up with good marketing names for these products. Yeah, Zepbound. Ridiculous, but I partially digress again. As well as the diabetes treatments and other medications. Now, they said in a statement, this is what Eduardo Hernandez, who's Lilly's president of global manufacturing, said, quote, today's announcement represents our single largest U.S. manufacturing investment outside of our home state of Indiana and will add to our ability to expand capacity to both our existing and future pipeline of medications, unquote, which is pretty impressive and interesting from an investor perspective. A majority of things Americans buy are not made in America anymore. Well, I argue they should be, which is why, well, if I can't find it in America, I'm making myself like this desk, but I partially kid. But yeah, when it comes to pharmaceuticals, one of the largest is, well, technically U.S. territory is Puerto Rico. That was one of the epicenters for pharmaceuticals thanks to investments from the local government over there. Yeah, to have more manufacturing in the U.S., that's always a good thing, I usually would argue. We'll see what the side effects of these things may or may not include. And again, not a doctor. We'll see if this YouTube has just got delisted or taken down off the YouTube, which is why you should always watch on Rumble or the Spotify. They say that Zepbound and Lilly's diabetes drug, what is it? This is another name for a drug, Mounjaro. That's for diabetes. That's a diabetes drug, apparently. I mean, even just something as rudimentary as diabetes minus or diabetes plus or I don't know. Just F minus minus for marketing. It's almost as bad as like it's almost as bad as like a BMW or Mercedes vehicle where it's just letters and numbers, which unless you're an enthusiast, you have no idea what they mean. But I partially digress again. The U.S. Food and Drug Administration removed. Good luck pronouncing this. Now, this is the chemical This is the chemical name for the Mounjaro drug. Tirzepatide. Yeah, I'm probably going to fail that pronunciation. So the FDA removed it from its shortage list earlier this year, but is reconsidering that decision following a lawsuit from an industry group representative compounding pharmacies. They'll make sell versions of the drug not approved by the FDA. Zepbound was introduced in the U.S. in late 2023. More than 5.2 million prescriptions have been written for the drug, according to the data from IQVIA. Lilly said it has committed a total of more than, $23 billion to building, expanding, and buying manufacturing sites since 2020. The acquisition, expansion, and additional purchase of land and the adjacent warehouse in Wisconsin bring Lilly's total planned investment on the site to $4 billion. Lilly, which just becomes the world's most valuable healthcare company, worth over definitely not financial advice. Who wishes they could have bought this stock years ago? They're worth about $790 billion. Says it plans to start construction and expansion next year, and previously said it expected production at the facility at the beginning of 2025. The company says it expects to add 750 jobs at the Wisconsin plant, which already has more than 100, including operators, technicians, engineers, and scientists. Which, again, they also talk about competitors, Novo Nordisk, which they're a Danish company. They're also investing in the growing category of weight loss drugs. We'll see what the future holds for that, but it is a growing need in the United States, pun moderately intended because of our waist size. Now, it will be interesting to see what the future holds in terms of a lot of speculation of, what does RFK Jr. have in mind for, what these chemicals they put in our foods, what could those chemicals could or could not be doing to us, for the ripple effect that could cause obesity. There's a lot of variables, which is why I'm particularly interested in the healthcare industry right now, and also skeptical in terms of how you're worried to put any money in that. Again, not financial advice, but there are a lot of variables out there, and there could be some serious shakeups. But one thing's for sure, I know a lot of folks who are starting to buy these obesity drugs instead of going to gym, which, again, for the caveat, there might be some people who can't go, go to the gym because of, there are some detrimental health circumstances some people are better. I understand there are outliers to every situation, but I guess, it's impressive they're bolstering U.S. manufacturing, but let me know, do you think this is going to be a long-term good investment for Lilly? Or, that's concerning in terms of their business. Do you think it might be banned pharmaceutical in the next couple of years and all of a sudden they have to pivot to making something else in those factories? Let me know, because as always, be fascinated to hear what you have to say. Now, going over to the cultural part podcast, you have Charlamagne going on The View, calling out their lies about Donald J. Trump, which I did have to use a little bit of the Google search. I thought his name was Champagne. Apparently it is Charlamagne. Now, this comes to us thanks to someone by the name of Tim Young on X, in which he says, quote, Charlamagne says the media will only lie about Trump. When The View claims they don't, he points out all the legal notes they have had to read lately. This is fun to watch. And I apologize, I should have said this earlier. Should put a visual disclaimer. You're about to see some of the gals from The View, which is ironically something that, very few people would actually want to see that particular view. So you're going to have to see some of the gals on The View as well as listen to them for a little bit. I know it will be equally unbearable, but we'll get through it together. Of course, what you have, there's Charlamagne there wearing, what is up with this guy? He's wearing a sweater? Ridiculous. F- for marketing and fashion. As we all know, true men always suit up. Can't help but think his eyebrows are just Sharpie. They're disproportionately dark compared to his beard. But I partially digress.
Now that Trump has won, you say that you don't think cable news will ever truly cover him honestly again. Why?
Well, not even just cable news, no network. Nobody, because they didn't do it before, so why would they do it now? They're scared to death. He's the president of the United States of America.
Have you watched The View? Yeah. Well,
very few have, in his defense. Very few have ever actually legitimately watched The View. And also, I would say when it comes to their accuracy about Donald Trump is F-.
Well, let's be honest. Sonny, I saw you have to apologize a couple times last week, so somebody's coming with some notes from downstairs.
Not apologizing. Okay. I'm making a legal note as an
legal note, because she also knows a lie. So she's not apologizing for her mental ineptitudes or inaccuracies. She's just saying, well, legally I was wrong. Yeah. Right.
attorney of law.
Because you know we have a petty president, our incoming,
yes,
that is going to be very litigious.
Who is litigious, but that doesn't mean that's not a
we
mistake.
check ourselves. But what does not normalizing?
And I can't help but wondering, what is that? Man, I'm almost dying a little inside in terms of, I've seen enough clips of The View to know some of their names by now. I know the one on the very left is Whoopi Whoopi Goldberg. Pretty sure the other gal is ironically named Sunny, which she never looks sunny or happy. I'm going to say she gets a D- for marketing in terms of fashion. It looks like she has blue jeans that have been custom sewn into some type of shirt blouse thingamajig. Either way, it's a ridiculousness. And of course, yeah, no one should believe The View. I got 1.9 million views as well as 27,000 likes because, yeah, no one believes The View. The View is perhaps on par with accuracy and intellect as the current White House, White House Press Secretary Karine Jean-Pierre, both equally mentally vacuous and both equally inaccurate. Now, going to the comments, one of the first ones comes from Chuck Costello saying, quote, "Good to see one of them pointed out they are the most biased ever, getting 385 likes. The Bunny B says, I read the legal notice as an attorney of law. Quote, and he says, bitch, you read the legal notice to talk about how the host given to you by an attorney of law. Getting 1.3 thousand likes. Tony says, this guy is an absolute moron in spite of his brief moments of lucidity, getting 397 likes, which, yeah, I kind of agree with that assessment. Ray Dawn says, this isn't fun at all. They also say that Trump is petty. They have to watch their show. They have to watch their show Lies, all effing idiots. Why did uneducated moron have the show? Getting 413 likes. Because, I don't know, I have a conspiracy theory. It's actually just some misogynist guy who wants to make women look as dumb as possible, which, if that was his goal, A+, because that's what The View does. Again, there are millions of brilliant and intelligent women out there. None of them have ever been on The View. Now, you also have America of Choice says Trump is not a petty president. Charlamagne is full of crap, as is Sunny, getting 12 likes, which, I mean, Trump used to be much more litigious than he is now. But yeah, if they say blatant lies about him, I wouldn't be surprised if he just goes to sue them. Trump would probably say something effective. The View is nothing but lies. They look like dogs. I mean, it might as well be a bunch of Rosie O'Donnell lookalikes. I can't see the difference. They're so inaccurate. I'm going to sue their pants off, which is pretty bad. No one would ever want them to see without pants on. There'd be a lot of censorship in that regard. No one wants to see that big blocks over that. No one wants to see the real thing. I mean, they'd probably be in jail because they lose so much money. They'd be in debt. They might just sell everything they have. And at the end, 5 people will still watch it. I mean, that might have been the worst impression of Trump you've heard all in 2024, but that perhaps is an accolade in and of itself. I'm only partially kidding. Now you have someone important. A+ for marketing, you know, that's their profile name. You know they have to be someone important. Someone important says, quote, the media wouldn't have to worry if 99% of their coverage about Trump wasn't lies. Of course, he's going to be litigious, getting 49, so 50 likes. There we go. James says, The View is past their expiration date, getting 62 likes, which, I mean, they'll have a lot. It won't be accurate, but they will have a lot of things to talk about in 2025 when it comes to Trump. I'm sure they'll be mostly lies, but they'll have content. I still debate how many people actually watch it, watch it for enjoyment, not to laugh at them. It's got to be like 18 people left, right? Brandon's crew chief says, quote, the left is beginning to eat each other. Good, clean fun, getting 84 likes. My generosity says, what's fun about? He insults Trump in the short clip because he cannot be honest with him either, getting 98 likes. See here. Blue Steel says The View is one of the worst liars, getting 6 likes. Yeah, true. And yeah, no one's sticking up for The View, which, well, I was going to say not many would. But yeah, that'd be interesting. Do you think The View will get sued by Trump in 2025 if they continue to spew lies about him, their views being inaccurate? Let me know in the comments and your thoughts, because as always, be fascinated to hear what you have to say. Other interesting cultural news, you have an illegal migrant complaining she only got free hotels and free food. The food wasn't that great. While Americans starve and there are homeless veterans in the U.S. Illegals get nice fancy hotels, gift cards, phones, and yeah, lots of free food. While Americans starve and are homeless. Yep, that sounds about right for Biden in America. Now this comes to us thanks to End Wokeness, when she says, quote, illegal migrant complains, quote, they gave us no help, only free hotels and bad food. Jesus. Only free you know how much people spend on apartments in the United States this year? Or renting? Housing has gotten so ridiculously expensive, and yet they're complaining, oh yeah, I got free room and board. Ridiculous. Mentally vacuous, of course. But we'll go ahead and we'll get through this together. It's only about a minute long. She's even got, I mean, it's not saying much, but she's got fancier clothes than me. Bar's pretty low there. Granted, it's just a rudimentary, I don't know what you call that. Is that a poofy, the poofy jacket thing? But yeah, wonder where she got that. And she's got a nice smartphone too. Not to brag, but I saw the Samsung S10, the vintage. Can't break that thing. Exceptional return on investment.
They give you 3 meals a day, a place to sleep. Like, what did they give you in the shelter? What were the resources?
La comida y el cuarto, más nada.
Food?
Now she complains, we got food, a room and a food and nothing else.
3 meals a day?
3 comidas al día.
Sí, pero yo no comía esas comidas porque eso.
What? What kind of entitled what kind of entitled girl is this? She says, oh yeah, she didn't eat some of the food because it was frozen food? What an entitled POS. Ridiculous. And I'm not talking about a point of sale service like the toast you see at some restaurants. No, that's not what I'm saying.
Era comida congelada.
Oh, it was
Ahí nadie se
frozen
comía
food.
esa comida porque eran comida congelada.
Nobody ate
Y
that
ahí
food.
no había trabajadora social. En esos chetes de allá de Queen no hay.
There were no social worker in
Por eso
Queens
fue que
shelter.
uno salió a los 6 meses.
So they say, oh yeah, there's no social workers there. Again, you broke into the country and you get free stuff and you're complaining. He says that's why you left after 6 months. So you got 6 months of free somewhere to live and food. And he says we lived because we couldn't do anything over
That's
there
why they
Nada
left.
hacíamos allá porque todo es un protocolo.
because everything was a
No pude sacar
protocol.
los papeles nunca.
No
Yo estoy
pudimos
haciendo
sacar
mis
los
trámites.
I was never able to get my papers. We weren't able to get our
Dele
papers
por-
because everything was
Que
over there
todo allá era
was
de
from 7 a.m. to 10 p.m. at night.
7 a 10 de la noche.
Why do you need social workers at the shelter?
Para los papeles.
So for 6 months,
Papers.
were you working during those 6 months at the shelter?
Estadía en el shelter. No, they weren't.
No tuve ninguna ayuda en ese chiste, en realidad ninguna. Solamente un techo donde dormir y.
You saying I didn't get any help, only a food over my head, or a roof over my head. That's it, because not even the food.
Ya, porque ni la comida.
It certainly felt odd to hear that she got no help besides a roof and food when there are homeless Americans who can't get those same resources.
That's bullshit. Pardon the French, but talk about cultural demise in America. I think that's one of the reasons why Trump won. Hopefully, he's going to change some of this so that tax-paying dollars actually go to Americans and people who could use the help, not people who are breaking the law. Imagine if someone breaks into your house, stays there for 6 months, eats your food, and stays there, and then complains about it. I mean, shoot, I eat post. There's nothing. I mean, yeah, if I won the lottery, every one of my meals would be fresh and great. I mean, there's nothing wrong with frozen foods. I get frozen beef all the time from the Walmart. I was gonna say, not pay endorsement, just a fan. And yet they're complaining, oh yeah, the food is frozen. A lot of food is frozen. Like frozen beef is great. And yet, no, they're complaining. Ridiculous. Pathetic. Now, not to be cliche, but back in my day when my family came here from Cuba, well, they didn't complain at all. They just got out there, worked like hell, and now they're all successful. Yep, just work like hell. Don't complain. It used to be what assimilation America was all about. Just work like hell, and if you do the right thing, you'll be successful a majority of the time. Now, it's got about 900,000 views and only 10,000 likes. It's not the best like ratio. Now, go to the comments. Well, the first one, and it says accredited to Nate Freeman 97. You also have Charles Weber saying, quote, approximate taxpayer funds for illegal migrants in 2023. Jesus, $150 billion. Approximate illegal population in 2023, 11.7 million. Approximate funds for veteran care in 2023 was 302 billion. Approximate veteran population was 17.9 billion. We just spent 27% more on all. We spent just 27% more on all U.S. veterans than illegals. But it should be $0 spent on illegals. A lot more for veterans. Ridiculous. I got 211 likes. Planet of Memes, a little disappointed they did not in fact post a meme, or meme if you want to sound fancy. I quote, there are plenty of homeless Americans who are greatly appreciative of those two things. Okay, 160 likes, which, yep. Gunther Eagleman says, quote, they should be deported immediately, shouldn't be here in the first place, getting 383 likes. Based Electrician says, quote, I'm sorry, was the free food shelter and spending money not enough? Because it was basically stolen from the American taxpayer. And there you can see a screenshot of her looking especially entitled, which, yeah, it's also easy to take a screenshot of someone. I mean, if you're on video, there's always awkward frames you can use. I mean, some more disproportionate than others. Lord knows I probably have plenty. But yeah, she definitely looks smug. Getting 305 likes. Wall Street Maverick says, quote, "It's so sad. Maybe she should go back to her home country where she can be happy." Getting 320 likes. Yep. Paul Zupa says, quote, "Mass deportations can't happen soon enough." Getting 125 likes. Rihanna Moriallo says, quote, "Wow, they've assimilated so quickly." Getting 61 likes. American Papa Bear says, quote, "Then go home." Getting 68 likes. Wall Street Apes has a picture of the southern border and has a Christmas tree and lights saying, "Go home, Trump's back." And he says, quote, "The best solution to complaining illegal migrants is Tom Homan putting them in an ICE detention center and sending them back to home with their families." Getting 466 likes. Let's see. Nafu says, "Then go the F home." It's pretty simple. Getting 548 likes. Kim Young says, "Go back to your third world country then." Getting 1,000 likes. Sarah Rose says, "Then get the F out." Getting 820 likes. Now, that being said, if these migrants happen to go to somewhere like San Francisco, they'd probably feel right at home because of the, how it's basically become a third world country. Now you also have Salty Goat saying, quote, "There's a simple fix. Take your ass back home." Getting 596 likes. Junita Broderick says, quote, "F and ingrates." Getting 257 likes. BIPOC doing racism says we should give the, never mind. They said they should harm them, which is inappropriate. We should never physically harm people. We're not attacking you first. Mark says they're not entitled to anything. Illegal means illegal. They're here unlawfully. Getting 70 likes. Yep. Chris's World says, "Then go to F home." Getting 58 likes. I'm trying to see if there's any contrarian statements here. Not too much. And culturally speaking, I think, again, I said it to the umpteenth time, Trump did win the popular vote. So on average, I think most cities are going to maybe turn around these incentives, or rather get rid of them, and maybe put more resource allocation to American citizens. That being said, spoiler, and later in the show, yeah, it turns out some cities actually will do everything to protect the illegals, but not the civilians. Not the citizens who actually pay taxes. So, yeah, not too surprised to hear they're so entitled, which, I guess it's kind of a dark humor, sad joke. They become American. There's a lot, don't get me wrong, there are a lot of Americans who are also very entitled. But let me know your thoughts are in the comments, because as always, be fascinated to hear what you have to say. Other interesting cultural news, you have the Jaguar Type 00 in blue is a very sad blue, as about 2 people are impressed with the whole marketing campaign of Copy Nothing, partially because it looks like they just copied Rolls-Royce, I believe is the Wraith. And the prototype looks basically like it, only worse. So perhaps they should get some accolades. They actually did make it different, but in a worse way. This comes to us straight from the horse's mouth, the Jaguar's mouth, and their external profile. And they say, quote, "Jaguar Type 00 in London blue." Perhaps a bit more appropriate for San Francisco blue, but I digress. You can see the top-down view of what looks like Mars, then the Jaguar prototype in blue, which, it looks rudimentary to say the least. Now, there's a like ratio, not that great. Got about 309,000 views and 2.5 thousand likes, so not doing good there. Now, the first comment comes from Bengalorian saying, quote, "I just don't understand all this for a concept car," getting 249 likes. Jaguar did respond saying, "You will," getting 77 likes. It has to be like, maybe that's the 77 people who now work at Jaguar. I mean, they used to get 88 likes earlier this week. It keeps going down. I think they have layoffs left and right. Now, hilarious stuff they ratioed, as youth might say, by Zach Crandell saying, quote, "Looks like a piece of crap," getting 257 likes. Which, that's quite a few. Going back to the main comment section, you have the Lincoln Trader saying, quote, "Hey kids, do you want to hop into my pink Jaguar van for some candy? Don't tell your mom." Jaguar 2024. Got 172 likes. Rolo 1995 says, quote, "Type 00 side profile is striking," and looks like a piece of, just a pink block on what do you call those? The movers. It's one of the things where they have the industrial wheels and a piece of plank, basically. What is it called? A moving plank? But it does look hilarious, getting 142 likes. What's it? Lurk McKirk says, quote, you turned my F-Type into a toaster," getting 109 likes. The EV guy. It happened. I didn't think it would happen. There's a positive comment here, or at least a neutral one. This has got to be the first time in weeks since Jaguar's got one of those. He says, I'm curious. His name is the EV guy. Interesting. Got 6,000 followers. It's a real verified account. Says, quote, "Blue, gold, or pink, what do you think?" And it's just, pictures of the bastardized looking Jaguar, which the correct answer is none. They all look terrible. I did get 21 likes, but was he ratioed? He was not ratioed by number of likes. Travis did say none, getting 20 likes. But the number of comments were, yeah, all negative. Mr. the EV guy. Going down more and more. Here. Greg Mosier says, quote, 00 is a synonym for toilet in Austria. Getting 51 likes. House King says, does it have to be this bad? Getting 30 likes. Honey Van Macaradian says, quote, 00 for the number of sales worldwide. Getting 20 likes. Optimus Prime? Can't pronounce things today. Again, a friendly reminder to click that subscribe button. When I first started the show, barely any subscribers, well, maybe some family members, and my speaking was basically terrible. I stumbled over my words worse than Joe Biden trying to climb upstairs, and spoke even faster than, well, I would say McLaren F1. But slowly but surely, I've decreased my pace of speech so a little bit more easy to hear me and articulate a little better. And I think it's because I got some more subscribers. So if you can click that button and feel my theory that if I get more subscribers, I will someday make it through an entire episode speaking perfectly, articulately, and great. So if you can go ahead and click that button, feel my theory, I'd greatly appreciate it. Now, Optimus Prime says, quote, needs more curves, has to be sex on wheels, so sexy you want to hand wash it just for the feel of it. And there's a Jaguar E-Type getting 63 likes with the original Jaguar, which does look amazing. I mean, yeah, the E-Type is a work of art on wheels. The current is an abomination. You also have the great content banner saying copy nothing. It's a picture of a Nokia cell phone getting 94 likes. The original OG Nokia, the ones that are bulletproof. Luke McGurk also says, I'm ashamed to drive my F-Type because of you woke assholes. Getting 70 likes. High Priority News says, how to bankrupt your company at speedrun. Getting 15 likes. Which, yeah, we'll see how their sales go. A lot of people compare. Oh, yeah, here we go. A lot of people comparing it to the Rolls Royce, which, yeah, looks pretty much exactly like it from the side profile. I don't know if they poached some talent over there in terms of the design department or what, but, yeah, not looking great. So, yeah, pretty much everyone just roasting them. Somehow they continue to lean into the meme instead of, writing it, but I don't know. Let me know. Do you think Jaguar will be able to recover from this as they lean into the going all EV in 2025? And do you think, how many will they realistically sell? They're not a high-value manufacturer, for years. More of a boutique sports car company they used to be. But let me know your thoughts in the comments, because, as always, be fascinating to hear what you have to say. Now, going over to the political part podcast, you have Biden considering pardoning Fauci, Liz Cheney, Adam Schiff, and more, which I'm a little flabbergasted. I was told those were all heroes. They were great by the mainstream media. They didn't break any laws, we were told. So why would you need a pardon? A preemptive pardon, which I don't know how many people have heard of that before. Now, this comes with thanks to Charlie Kirk. She says, quote, breaking, White House is considering preemptive pardons for Fauci, Liz Cheney, and Adam Schiff. Why would they do that if they did nothing wrong? I actually have an article from the Post Millennial, and going to that, actually expanding that on the screen really quick here. This is credited to trying to pull up the writer's specific name over there. Heidi Cunningham is right over there. It says, quote, breaking, White House considers preemptive pardons for Fauci, Liz Cheney, and Schiff report. Discussions about blanket pardons following Biden's controversial decision to pardon his son, Hunter, previously stated he did not plan to do so, which, that's not really news. Democrats lie. That's kind of the default, most people would argue. Now, diving into the article, they say, quote, President Joe Biden's administration is reportedly debating the possibility of issuing preemptive pardons. Preemptive, again, click that subscribe button. Preemptive pardons to current and former public officials who could be targeted by President Trump. According to a report by Politico, Biden's senior aides are concerned about officials who could face inquiries or even indictments under Trump's presidency. Concerns are also motivated by Trump's announcement that Kash Patel would lead the FBI during the administration. Because of the concerns, White House are weighing the unprecedented move of issuing blank pardons for individuals who have not been charged with any crimes. However, question remains about the optics and implications. Well, when have Democrats give a damn about optics? The whole Burisma thing just swiped that under the rug, so to say. And Hunter just got free pardon. When, again, Biden for a couple of years has said, no, you'd absolutely not interfere. You wouldn't pardon. Yeah. Yet another lie. Now, they also say, quote, among those believed to be potentially targeted under administration are Senator-elect Adam Schiff, former GOP congressman and warmonger Liz Cheney, I added that last part, and Anthony Fauci. Discussions about the blanket pardons would also follow his controversial decision to pardon Hunter. Now, go back to the comments section. Again, I don't think anyone's surprised. Got 1 million views and 29,000 likes. The first comment coming from Paul Zupa saying, quote, "They're all guilty of sin. That's why," getting 252 likes. Base Electrician says, "Trust me, this guy did something wrong." Got 72 likes and a picture of Fauci. Elon Musk simply says, exclamation point, getting 4.5 thousand likes. John Strand says, quote, wait, hold on a second. Since when do we decide to simply accept this business of preemptive pardons? That's not a pardon. That's a government license to commit crimes. Are we the mafia now? Getting 4.3 thousand likes, which some might argue that the mafia has more integrity than some Democrats in terms of, I mean, the mafia, if you pay them money, they protect your store or place of business. In places like San Francisco, you pay taxes, and yet they allow the criminals to not just steal your products, but also burn down your businesses, just like in Minnesota. So some could argue the mafia actually has more integrity than some of the U.S. government. The bar, yes, is comically and kind of soul-crushingly that low. Scrolling down more and more. Anti-left memes, A+. They, in fact, responded in a meme, unlike Planet of Memes, which is suspiciously not doing a lot of memes these days. Anti-left memes says, quote, "The January 6th committee just commit provable crimes." And it's a picture of them saying Democrats held a fake hearing to investigate a fake insurrection in order to cover up the fake election of a fake president, getting 324 likes. Wall Street Apes says, quote, "Anthony Fauci is long overdue for crimes against humanity charges." And it says, quote, "Dr. Anthony Fauci said, I do not recall, 174 times. Yeah, I'll never forget when, was it Rand Paul asking Fauci, how much money did you earn from the COVID vaccines when, there's some patent kickbacks and you owned part of it apparently? How much money did you make? And he said, oh, I do not recall. Which, yeah, it's probably a bad Fauci impression. Can only get better though in the future. And that was him saying, I do not recall. While under oath, Dr. Fauci, the once heralded medical savior to millions, found himself at a loss for words and recollection claim, I do not recall, an astonishing 174 times. His statements were taken out as part of Missouri and Louisiana's landmark lawsuit against the federal government and Biden administration for colluding with social media companies to censor free speech during the height of the COVID-19 lockdowns. Going down more and more. Anti-left meme says Elon Musk's pronouns. And what was this? November 2024. Elon Musk tweeted, "My pronouns are still prosecute Fauci," getting 142 likes. Someone by the name of Zeno says Anthony Fauci must be prosecuted for crimes against humanity. Pass it on. There's a picture of him and it says Fauci lied, people died, getting 415 likes. Yeah, not a lot of people sticking up for those folks in the comments section here. And again, we'll see how that works. There's a preemptive, a lot of people are saying that even if they do receive some type of blanket pardon, still lying under oath is still illegal. So they can still be charged for that. With Fauci famously said, we did not fund the gain of function research. But in fact, spoiler alert, they did. It was, yeah. So we'll see how that plays out. I mean, at this point, who knows? I wouldn't be surprised by the time this video is rendered and uploaded that Biden just gives every Democrat just a blanket pardon for breaking whatever laws they did or didn't. I mean, again, officially they have not been charged. And yet, why, if they're all innocent, why are they worried? Let me know your thoughts are in the comments, because as always, be fascinated to hear what you have to say. Other interesting political news, you have Elon Musk noting that only 6% of federal employees show up in person full time, and only 1% if you discount the folks who are in the maintenance and security departments. This as the Department of Government Efficiency, aka DOGE, with Vivek and Elon, is going up into full gear and will hopefully decrease the ridiculous, comically out of control spending that Democrats and Republicans have been doing in the government for decades. Now this comes to us. Elon is actually responding to an article from the New York Post, in which Elon, again, the New York Post says, quote, only 6% of federal workers show up in person on a full-time basis, scathing Senate report reveals. Elon said, quote, if you exclude security guards and maintenance personnel, and the number of government workers who show up in person to do a 40 hours of work a week is closer to 1%, almost no one. Which, yeah, I can't help but think, if you're a government employee, what are the odds that you're really working when you're at your computer at home? That you're not using some type of software or like a tool like a mouse jiggler, so just make yourself look busy while accomplishing nothing. I would say the odds are, I don't want to say 100%. I don't want to be that bold. But it's probably, 99.999999263% approximately. Now, this did go pretty viral. Thankfully, got 27.2 million views and 196,000 likes. And one of the first comments comes from Elon Miles Chung, says, quote, "You can and simply should simply fire all of them. They're collecting paychecks for no work, and it should be one thing if it was a private company willing to burn cash, but this is public money," getting 1.5 thousand likes. True. Gunther Eagleman says, quote, "This work ethic has to change to 100%, getting 1.4 thousand likes." He also says, "Fire all the lazy government Fs," getting 2.9 thousand likes. Paul Zupa says, "Why are we paying them?" getting 134 likes. StatsFast84 says, "Get rid of them. If they aren't showing up for work, fire them," getting 582 likes. Now, that issue with that is Biden just passed, a new, I believe it's an executive order around 42,000 federal employees saying they can work from home. Well, I should say I should clarify, not work from home. I don't think they're actually working. They can occupy their home during the day and collect a paycheck. Is perhaps a more accurate statement of the situation. Chuck Costello says, quote, "Reduce the federal government to 3%, getting 385 likes." Which, yeah, imagine how much of your paycheck you had to keep if the government wasn't so fat, bloated, and inefficient. A lot more dollars to stay in your pocket. That'd be nice. Robbie Starbuck says, quote, "That's a lot. Lots of empty real estate," getting 1.1 thousand likes. American Papa Bear says, quote, "Doge is going to have a lot of fun," getting 91 likes. Lives of TikTok simply says, "Insane," getting 1,000 likes. Elon Musk also says, "Literally thousands of empty buildings, not just of America, but around the globe, paid for by your tax dollars," getting 1.5 thousand likes. Yep. Let's see. I don't see any contrarian statements to this one. Ashley St. Clair says, "Afuera," getting 431 likes. Wall Street Ape says, quote, "This is the best proof of eliminating 99% of government is not only possible, but 100% necessary." Got 4.2 thousand likes. Could we make it 4.3? No, but I did like it nevertheless. Junito Broderick says, quote, "Just think of the upkeep on empty federal buildings and workspaces. Close them down," getting 3.2 thousand likes. Ian Jager says, "Why do they get a paycheck if they don't show up to work?" getting 217 likes. Trump Army says, time to clean up the bureaucracy," getting 627 likes. Dr. C says, "It's time they're fired. Any other employer would pay someone handsomely to do a job, but and not only do they not do that job, but they steal from you and don't show up to work. Fire them now," getting 205 likes. Which, yeah, I would really love to see the efficiency or the productivity levels. Like, how many of the TPS reports are they making? Actually, on that thought, how many useless reports and useless jobs are there in the U.S. government where it's not actually accomplishing a goal, it's just busy work? That's not a good question to ask. Of that 1% employees who are showing up and doing something, what are they really doing? We also have Dr. Interracial says, "That includes politicians who don't show up to work," getting 260 likes. Rebecca AF says, "Holy shit, these government officials are so corrupt and lazy," getting 407 likes. Freckled Liberty says, quote, "What did you get done this week? It's going to be a very important question." Yep, getting 203 likes. Yeah, I think this is another good important note. Linda RN says, quote, "Now we know why they vote Democrat at almost 93%. They get paid our money to do nothing." And Washington, D.C. voted for Kamala 92.4%, rather. Donald Trump 6.7%. And Robert F. Kennedy Jr. getting 0.8%. They got 22 likes, which, yeah, makes sense. Would you vote for someone who wants to just to give you more and more money to do nothing, or someone who wants to cut the budget and make you work for a living? Probably makes sense that a lot of government employees just vote for a bigger, more bloated, and efficient government. But that's just me. So not seeing too many contrarian statements here. Now, the real question is, with the law with the executive action that Biden recently passed, can Elon and Vivek, could they force them to come back to the office? And how could they measure their productivity? I bet, again, and you see a little bit of this in the private sector, but they've wised up. There are some companies that use employee tracking software where they'll say you're productive if your mouse is moving. That's not indicative of being productive. That's just indicative of you doing something. Also, there's spawned a whole industry of garbage from Temu in China where you can actually have a mouse jiggler. So artificially, either, like, I don't recommend this because I venture to say it's mostly spyware and viruses, but you can download a software to make your mouse jiggle a little bit. And there's actually a company that makes a physical product you can place your mouse on top of, and it'll move around so it looks like your mouse is moving randomly, which, again, it'll show you as busy if you're using something like Microsoft Teams or one of those tracking softwares to see if you're moving around. But again, are they really finishing those reports? if anything, I think that'd be a much more accurate barometer for employee productivity when it comes to the public sector. Yeah, I've heard a lot of instances employees just sitting on the computer doing nothing most of the day. And again, the U.S. government, thanks to the ineptitudes and corruption of Democrats and Republicans, we're over $36 trillion in debt. Something's got to change. And I can't but think part of that is eliminating a lot of people that aren't really doing anything. But let me know in the comments, are you surprised that barely anyone shows up anymore? I mean, even in the private sector, as again, because of the pandemic, they've had more people work from home. I just still have to say it's about a 50-50 split between people going to the office or working from home. I would argue people are, on average, a little bit more productive at the office, but I know it's a controversial topic. Some people might not agree. And some studies, some show one, some show the other. So let me know, do you think the average government employee, are they efficient enough to justify their salary? Let me know in the comments, because as always, it'd be fascinating to hear what you have to say. Other interesting political news, you have a Boston City Council voting to protect illegals and fight the feds from deportation, which, yeah, you shouldn't be surprised that they're voting to fight for the non-taxpayer and use the taxpayer dollars to do it. Now, this comes to us thanks to Liz at TikTok, which she says, quote, breaking, Boston City Council voted 13-0 on a resolution to reaffirm the Trust Act, which declares Boston as a sanctuary city and prevents local law enforcement from cooperating with ICE. Democrats will prioritize illegals over American citizens, which, that's been the way for probably a couple decades now. I don't think anyone's too surprised. There you see their little paper act, and let's hear what they have to say. Ironically, they always talk about diversity. There's no white guy there. There's a bunch of gals and soon to be African American man. But yeah, interesting. Where's the diversity? That's what they value most. I'm actually flabbergasted. I'm surprised they have an American flag in the room. I'm also surprised you don't melt like the Wicked Witch of the West from the, what was that film way back in the day? The Wizard of Oz. As if seeing that flag would, make them melt like the truth. But I partially digress. Let's hear what they have to say.
Docket 1780, Councilor Louisiane and Mejia offer the following resolution reaffirming the Trust Act.
At least he did something right. The gentleman did suit up. As all men should, obviously.
The chair recognizes Council President Louisiane. Councilor, you now have the floor.
The city of Boston has long been a beacon of hope and opportunity for immigrants. As a city built on the strength of its diverse communities, Boston remains steadfast in
people coming here legally, vetted, so we know the security background, so we know their value add.
its commitment to protecting the rights, dignity of all its residents, regardless of status. The trust.
Yeah, we don't care if you're a taxpayer. Even if you break into our country, we're gonna give you everything, if not more.
The Trust Act, first enacted, as we heard, in 2014 and later strengthened through amendments, is now a cornerstone of our policies. Every year, the Boston Police Department provides us with a report pursuant to the Trust Act on how they've been honoring the Trust Act and not getting involved in any civil immigration detainments. The Trust Act fosters trust between immigrant communities and public safety officials, ensuring that all residents feel safe.
Even though they don't do background checks, right? That might be a good metaphor for Democrats. We didn't do any research. We're going to trust this.
Reporting crimes and seeking assistance by preventing collaboration with federal immigration authorities on civil immigration matters.
For reaffirming the Trust Act, I believe this legislation is crucial in maintaining trust between our immigrant communities and local government, ensuring that all residents feel safe to engage with city services without fear. I fully support this resolution and Boston's commitment to being a welcome and inclusive city, prioritizing safety and trust by clearly defining the roles of Boston Police Department and federal.
Prioritize safety and trust while allowing anyone to come here without knowing their background or their criminal history.
Immigration authorities. I think we have the scope for exploring how we can further strengthen these protections and build on successful models to better serve our communities. Would anyone else like to add their name? Madam Clerk, can you please add Councilor Braden, Councilor Coletta Zapata, Councilor Durkin, Councilor Fernandez-Anderson, Councilor Fitzgerald, Councilor Murphy, Councilor Pepin, Councilor Santana, Councilor Weber, and please add the chair. Council President Louisiane, Councilor Mejia, and Councilor Weber seek suspension of the rules and patches of docket number 1788. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed. Madam Clerk, can you please conduct a roll call vote?
Roll call vote on docket 1780. Councilor Braden. Yes. Councilor Coletta Zapata. Councilor Durkin. Yes. Councilor Fernandez Anderson. Councilor Fitzgerald. Yes. Councilor Flynn. Yes. Councilor Louisiana. Yes. Councilor Mejia. Councilor Murphy. Councilor Pepan. Councilor Santana. Yes. Councilor Weber. Yes. Councilor Worrell.
Yes.
13 votes in the affirmative.
This docket number 1788 has passed.
But you get what you vote for. We'll see what happens to Boston. Yeah, that was a terrible attempt at their accent, but the attempt was made, nevertheless. I think it goes as far as I thought. It got about over 70,000 views and 910 likes. One of the first comments comes from Declaration of Memes, which A+, they in fact did respond in meme form. Who says, quote, as expected from Democrats. And it's the meme of the hand, going underwater to save another hand. And the first hand is labeled the U.S. government trying to save the hand. The drowning hand is labeled illegal immigrant. And then the other picture is the same hand, but the one going under the water, instead of trying to save the hand, is flipping it off. It's labeled the U.S. government again, but the drowning hand is U.S. taxpayer because, yep, it seems it's like you get the least amount of benefits if you're a taxpaying American. You get free housing and free food if you come here illegally and don't have to pay taxes. And yet, if you are a law-abiding citizen, the government steals 40% on a federal level of your income, potentially 10 to 13% of your income on a state level. They have to pay for sales tax, another 10% there. Got alcohol tax, tobacco tax, estate tax, capital gains tax, electricity tax, telecommunication tax, inheritance tax. At the end of the day, of every dollar you make and we make, how much is really left for ourselves? Quite criminal and depressing when you think about it. I got 110 likes. Tom Holman says, quote, it's sad that we live in a time when people we voted for started turning against us, getting 132 likes. Low-key Ray says, if Democrats would just for once put Americans over illegal immigrants, they wouldn't need to work so hard to steal elections. They are deeply, pejorative, to say, cover your ears if you have kids listening, I suppose. They're deeply retarded, getting 35 likes. The Foo says, cut off any and all funding, getting 25 likes. Tucker Carlson News Network fan account says, quote, too bad it's against the law to aid and abet criminals. This resolution is just a facade, getting 49 likes. David Brown says, good luck, dude, coming regardless. Is a new quote-unquote border czar, getting 11 likes. 12. Went up. TJ Paul says, all 13 of those city council officials should be thrown in federal prison where they can spend some quality time with the MS-13 and Trey de Agrua gang members they're so eager to protect. A week locked in a box with them would help them see it from our perspective, getting 9 likes. Well, they don't have to worry about that because a lot of those government officials have their own private, security team with them, with weapons that are near impossible for us to get thanks to the NFA Act of 1934. You also have the tired moderate saying, quote, good. If Boston is a sanctuary city, then they can take it at least double the current number of immigrants, illegals or otherwise. In fact, if they're serious, they can triple up their current immigrant population, give them what they asked for, getting 5 likes. Now, again, the downside of that in terms of, constitutionality, or in terms of, everyone having equal representation, let us skew the census and give them more folks in the House Electoral College, or the House of Representatives, because it shouldn't be, but the census is based on population, not, citizens, which it should be. So that's why you see a lot of these, blue cities and blue states wanting more illegals, because it helps them politically, because it gives them more representation. Falsely, I would argue, because it's based on census of who's there, not illegals. They should not count, but they still do. That's why you see an incentive mechanism for all these blue states to get more and more illegals, because it gives them more power. Because again, every time the census comes, they get send more representatives to DC. Molly Pitcher says, quote, they should not be allowed to use taxpayer dollars for illegals. That makes no damn sense, getting 8 likes. So it'll be interesting to see what happens with Boston. And again, we're going to see more and more cities push against Donald Trump and the Constitution, I think, in the next couple of years, especially. And again, in terms of what Trump will do, I suspect, maybe they'll decrease federal funding. That may be one thing. And I'm not sure Trump, historically speaking, really didn't use the National Guard, or really wasn't that aggressive in that regard, in that metric. So I'm not sure if he realistically would in order to, deport them. But let me know what your thoughts are, because as always, I'll be fascinated to hear what you have to say. Now, going over to the business blunder of the day, you have Polaris recalling some of their off-roaders, the RZR 1000 and more, which I don't want to say F- for marketing, but yeah, F- for marketing. Who the hell's going to remember that name? That's just ridiculous as when BMW and Mercedes does it, which, unless you're an enthusiast, you're not going to remember the model number. That's why I like actual names of products, like the Camaro or the Corvette, I'm trying to think of vehicle ones. Yeah, those are pretty cool. But I partially digress. Here you can see one of those good old fun off-roading machines. This comes to us thanks to the United States Consumer Safety Commission. They say, quote, Polaris recalls the RZR XP 1000 and XP4 1000. No affiliation to Microsoft. I thought it might be a promotion, free vehicle with every Windows XP license you buy. Huh, that's an IT joke because you haven't been able to do that for decades. Now they say, quote, again, it's the XP 1000 recreational off-road vehicles, or ROVs, due to a fire hazard. And there you can see the actual vehicle there, which, I mean, they look pretty fun. I'm a little too, well, I was going to say I rented it, so there would be no way for me to actually use this product. I mean, it looks like a fun farm toy if you had the means to purchase it. Now, they know specifically the model year is the 2024 to 2025 RZR XP, so the current model year. And they say that, quote, the hazard. The positive battery terminal, it's funny, you know, it's the government because it's a government website because they have to clarify this. The positive battery terminal, red, which anyone with molecular intelligence would know, yeah, that's the red one. Although most people do go to public schools, unfortunately, so maybe they do need to clarify that, including me. They say, quote, again, that terminal can become damaged by seed abuse, causing the positive battery post to be exposed and contact nearby conductive components, resulting in an electrical short, posing a fire hazard. Whoops. Now they say in terms of the, how many were affected, about 21,000 of these vehicles. In addition, there are about 1,300 sold in Canada. Here you can see a couple more pictures of these things, which, oh, there you go. The RZR. Here you can see, that's an awkward place to put the VIN. Looks like it's on a support bar right next to the shock. How about an awkward place to put it there, but if you want to check your specific vehicle, or I don't know what you call these things, or ROV, your particular ROV to see if it's affected, obviously you're going to take that VIN number, give them a call. They say that they can be contacted at 800-765-2427. Again, Polaris can be reached at 800-765-2747, 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. Now, of course, like most things, I suspect they're going to repair it for free because very similar to automotive, it usually is not burdened on the consumer. And I'm actually surprised. I guess they're not issuing a do not drive. Again, this isn't a street legal vehicle, so it's gonna be treated differently and regulated differently. But yeah, who would have? I mean, this is supposed to be a tough, it's supposed to be like a fun off-road thing, like manly. It's supposed to be a fun little farm toy, and yet just by using the seat a little too much, you could cause that to rub off and short circuit it. That's comically delicate. I mean, it's supposed to be much more rugged than that. And this looks like something you'd see in like a post-apocalyptic, trying to think of all those silly movies, like Mad Max movie. And yet, oh no, it's just the seat, that might rub off and, short circuit. So yeah, what's supposed to be a tough, durable off-road vehicle is actually quite petite and a little disappointing from a, in this case, safety and reliability perspective. So it definitely doesn't look good for their brand. And I mean, truth be told, these things cost about as much as not a full-blown expensive vehicle, but you're talking like 5 figures in that area. It's, to me, comically expensive. And you have something where it's so simple in terms of like just a little bit extra material or putting it in a little better location would have avoided all this. I just gotta say, Polaris, you are certainly the business blunder of the day. Thank you everyone for taking the time to tune in. Again, try to get to 4,000 subscribers by Christmas, so you can click that button. I greatly appreciate it. Also, give me a thumbs up, thumbs down, or comment. It's a great way to give me some additional feedback, letting me know how I can make the show better and better. Lastly, don't forget to take time to tell your family, tell your friends, tell your coworkers, heck, tell your enemies, tell anyone and everyone. Just stay safe and fight the good fight.